report. Straight to business now. Kemi Knight is joining us on set today. She's been looking into the US President's State of the Union speech. Trump trying to convince voters that the economy is doing well ahead, of course, of the upcoming midterm elections.
That's right, Stuart, because polls do show that his support has been sinking when it comes to handling of the economy. This despite it doing surprisingly well, at least on paper, with stocks remaining at all-time highs, inflation slowing, and the job market staying relatively robust. It's affordability that's been at the heart of people's concerns, and this was a chance for Trump to address that. People were also watching, hoping to get a hint on what may be in store on the tariff front after the Supreme Court's ruling. Daniel Quinlan has the story.
President of the United States.
In the longest State of the Union address in history, the economy was a key focus. One of the administration's key and most controversial policies are tariffs, and Donald Trump was keen to sell their success, despite last week's Supreme Court ruling that struck some down. He claims he has a plan to reinstate them without going through Congress.
It's under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes, and they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better.
The president was keen to tell a positive story about the economy.
After just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages.
He went on to claim that while inflation, mortgage rates and gas prices were down, the stock market, oil production, foreign direct investment and factory jobs were booming. The US economy has been growing, though at the slowest pace since 2020. But Democratic lawmakers argue it's affordability that's the problem.
Cost of living for average everyday Americans is almost unbearable. His billionaire friends, it's different for them.
The amount of Americans struggling to pay back loans is growing. Car loan delinquencies are at the levels they reached during the Great Recession. More concerning for the Trump administration is the electorate is not feeling positive about the economy, with the country gearing up for midterm elections. A recent Reuters Ipsos poll finds 56% of respondents disapprove of his handling of the economy.
Now on to other news. A standoff between the Pentagon and Anthropic over AI safeguards.
That's right. The Pentagon's setting a Friday 5:01 p.m. deadline to agree or face consequences. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has told CEO Dario Amodei that the firm could lose its $200 million contract with the Pentagon if it doesn't loosen safety restrictions on its Claude AI model. He's also threatened to put the company on a sort of government blacklist. Hegseth wants the military to be able to use Claude for, quote, all lawful use. But Anthropic has two main concerns: AI-controlled weapons and mass domestic surveillance of American citizens. Anthropic has consistently aimed to position itself as a more safety-orientated approach to AI research as compared to rivals, so a deal with the Pentagon could put that reputation at risk. And in an essay published last month, Dario Amodei said humanity is about to be handed almost unimaginable power, and it's deeply unclear whether our social, political and technological systems possess the maturity to wield it. So alarming statements when you put that in the context of military use.
Indeed. And we're going to end with the business news from here in France. The Louvre's president resigning doesn't come as a huge surprise given recent crisis at the museum, though, does it?
And this time, President Emmanuel Macron accepting that resignation. He, of course, hadn't accepted it 4 months ago after the heist, which just goes to show how much things have spiralled since then. Just a few days ago, a commission in charge of assessing museum security called the Louvre a state within a state, and strikes have become common occurrence with museum workers demanding urgent renovations and staffing increases. France's audit office showed that the museum had the money, it just wasn't getting its priorities right. Between 2018 and 2024, the museum only allocated 27 million euros to maintenance and compliance works and 60 million to the restoration of the palace. Now, that may seem like a lot, but it's only half the total amount spent on buying artworks and refurbishing the museum's display installations. You also remember police investigating a suspected €10 million ticket fraud scheme and detaining 9 people earlier this month, including 2 members of staff and several tour guides. So it's been crisis after crisis at the Louvre, and whoever succeeds, Laurence Descartes, will have a lot on their hands.
Yes, indeed. was going to say poison chalice. Hopefully not. We'll see. Thanks very much, Kemi Knight, there with the business